The defeat of Sicily has shaken Mussolini's prestige. Il Duce calls a meeting of the Fascist Grand Council for July the 24th, 1943. It's agreed on a vote that the king will be restored as commander-in-chief in place of Mussolini. The next day, Mussolini goes to confide his difficulties to the king, Victor Emmanuel III. It's a trap. As he leaves the royal palace, Mussolini is arrested on the king's orders. He is taken away in an ambulance. As soon as the news gets out, the crowds rush into the streets and knock over the emblems left by 21 years of the fascist regime. The successor to Il Duce, whose appointment is kept secret for several days, is Marshal Pietro Badoglio, a former monarchist, who declares publicly, "The war goes on," but secretly sends his envoys immediately to ask for an armistice with the Allies. On hearing the announcement of Mussolini's downfall, and realizing that since Italy has ceased to be an ally, she has become willy-nilly an occupied country, Hitler reacts as expected. The Wehrmacht marches in long columns down through the Brenner Pass. Outside Rome, the Italian army attempts resistance. But what can it do against the paratroopers and the panzers of the German war machine? The post of commander-in-chief of the German troops in Italy is entrusted to Marshal Kesselring, an ex-pilot who went to school with Rommel. For the German divisions coming out of Russia, Italy seems by comparison a holiday resort. Hitler doesn't forget his friend Mussolini and orders an SS commando and some paratroopers to rescue him. Their leader is a scarred giant, Colonel Otto Skorzeny. Mussolini is being detained in a mountain palace on the Gran Sasso in the Abruzzi. It's there that Skorzeny finds him on September the 12th, 1943. With his commando unit, he lands in a glider on the mountain summit. The first words of Il Duce to Skorzeny: "It's high time. I was going to commit suicide." He's anxious now to leave. A small plane manages to land, takes Mussolini and Skorzeny aboard, slides towards the precipice, and succeeds in taking off again. Several hours later, Hitler welcomes the fallen Duce to his general field headquarters in East Prussia. Where he finds his son, Vittorio. Mussolini is feted and comforted. No question of suicide or exile. He must leave at once for Italy to restore fascism. And soon, Mussolini departs to meet his fate. At Milan, he finds again the enthusiastic crowds of before the war. Those who betrayed him will be executed, and this includes his son-in-law, Count Ciano. But Il Duce is only a shadow of his former self, watched over, if not actually guarded, day and night by officers of the SS, the officers who at the end of the war would abandon him to the partisans. After Sicily, the Allies envisaged an immediate landing to the north of Rome. However, the Supreme Command adopts a more prudent plan, to land in the south on September the 8th, the day of the Italian armistice, the British at Taranto, the Americans at Salerno. But at Salerno, nothing goes according to plan. The Germans are everywhere, standing fast on the beaches of Salerno, entrenched in the hills. They open fire on the Americans on sight. The new commander of the American army, General Mark Clark, has very bad memories of this first invasion of Europe.
Mr. Churchill, he referred to the Mediterranean as the soft underbelly of Europe. And it became my job to slit that soft underbelly later, and I found instead it was a rather tough old gut.
The Allied fleet assembles off the coast to back up the infantry. On land, there is total confusion. Even re-embarkation is suggested. In 10 days, there are thousands of wounded. Finally, the attackers succeed in breaking through, and Clark moves inland to rendezvous with Montgomery's British troops coming from the south of Calabria to break the German vice. On October the 1st, 1943, the Allies enter Naples, in the midst of ruins, refugees, and a population which at the same time is both terrified and relieved. Naples, for the American soldiers from across the seas, has the reputation of a tourist paradise. It is Pompeii and Vesuvius. But the volcano becomes active, and the eruption adds to the miseries of war. In the city, the Germans have planted time bombs, which injure Allied soldiers and Italian civilians alike. Naples is a shambles, and the people try to survive in any way possible. For General Clark, Naples is the greatest port in southern Italy, to which reinforcements can be sent. He is anxious now to open the road to Rome.